I already have my hands full teaching math, ELA, social studies, and science. And now I need art too? Let's start here. I'm with you that math and ELA, your English language arts, are foundational to your child's learning from the beginning to the end of their schooling. Science and history are areas of high family engagement and certainly valuable in many ways. But can we agree that art is not just art? Art is human expression. It should be just as important as literature or philosophy. Humans think and we feel compelled to express those thoughts for others to consider. Art often reflects the culture of the artist, and it's all around us, not just a painting on the wall. It's in our furniture, clothing, homes, buildings and bridges in cities, statues in parks, photos in the news, and more. Art appreciation and art history both have a lot to offer regarding understanding individuals and society of the past. Art connects us with both the past and the future. Art has been part of our human experience from the beginning. People create for a variety of reasons. Initially, we created for utilitarian purposes. We needed to carry water from one place to another, but at some point, that potter chose to leave a piece of themselves on that vessel, a signature that would remain in recognition of that individual creator, a color or a pattern. Artistic expression is a lifelong skill you can build into your child, whether you consider yourself creative or not so much. Self-expression, observation, even fine motor skills are all benefits of teaching art in your homeschool. Today, I'd like to discuss the key factors to consider when adding art to your child's studies and go over popular art curriculum options we offer here at Rainbow Resource Center. Using an art curriculum might just be the easiest way to convey to your children that art is a valuable skill they can use to communicate with others and share who they are as a person. One very real reason a parent may have put off teaching art is time. It may feel like you're pushing it aside to get all the essential subjects in, but including art adds some novelty to the week and uses a different part of their brain. They may look at it as a brain break, and you can too. Most kids really enjoy having art time. First, determine how much time you can dedicate to art instruction. 1 day a week, 2 days a week. Art is not something you have to do every day. You might find that a weekly lesson is just right, allowing your children time to practice the skill over the course of the week. If this is the case, an hour should be a reasonable time frame. 2 hours is even better, as they can practice the lesson while it's fresh in their minds. It comes down to what you as a parent can manage. If 3 days a week sounds perfect, by all means go there. But if time is tight and you want to give the art lesson your full attention, 1 or 2 times a week is just fine. You may find your students asking for more art instruction. You could always suggest online videos, a trip to the library for more independent exploration, or even take a guided tour at an art museum to learn about famous works of art in person. Another factor when considering art instruction in your homeschool is how confident you feel about teaching art. Let's say you can reconcile the fact that you're not particularly artsy yourself and wish your kids would learn some drawing skills or such. It just seems rather lofty and intimidating. It might feel like adding a foreign language when you're not a fluent speaker. But we don't let that stop us when it comes to homeschool. No one expects a parent to be knowledgeable in every subject area, but you can find the resources that make it work. What do you even look for? How do you choose an art program that'll fit your needs? Let's clarify what art programs have to offer your family. Art appreciation teaches us how to analyze art as a way of understanding the world around us. You'll look at paintings and sculpture with the 7 elements of art in your mind's eye. I'll explain these here in a minute. Appreciating involves critiquing. What makes this a good painting? You might think, well, I can draw a horse, but it doesn't look like that. What does this artist know that I don't know? What medium did they use? Can you see the brush strokes? Most art curriculum has an element of art appreciation built in. It's part of what makes a program, and not just an open-ended exploratory experience like sitting at the table with paper and crayons. Appreciation is not a skill you learn in one sitting. You need to look at a lot of art to develop a sense of art appreciation. It gives words to your opinions about a piece beyond I like it or I hate it. Instead, ask, what do I like about it? The colors, the mood, the subject? Why do I hate it? Does it make me feel angry? Am I sensing something menacing coming through these brush strokes? You are really tapping into a student's feeling when you explore art appreciation. Art history gives you a sense of the world and what was happening when a work of art was being created. Art history is intertwined with world history. Art is shaped by culture. Location, weather, natural resources affect methods and materials used by an artist. Was there political turmoil or starvation? Also, who sponsored the work of art as part of its history? Often it was the church paying an artist to create a piece that conveyed the people and stories of the Bible. World religions have always created art that reflect their beliefs and traditions. Again, art's being used to communicate. It's pretty easy to connect art history to a history curriculum when you're homeschooling. It's even more special when a student makes a connection themselves. Think about studying the many discoveries of the Renaissance and coming across Leonardo da Vinci. If you've been learning about Leonardo in your art curriculum, his sketches and ideas and inventions and paintings, your learner is going to remember that connection for a very long time. The same is true of other eras and artists. Those connections with art and history are invaluable. Art production is when your student learns the skills to communicate their own ideas through drawing, painting, sculpting, or another art medium. For some of you, this is the messy part. For your students, it's usually the best part. Remind yourself that a child is learning a form of self-expression and messes can be cleaned up. Developing good technique takes patience and perseverance. These are great character qualities. As your child sees their progress grow, they become more confident. Yes, some do progress faster than others, but keep at it. These art skills may lead to a satisfying hobby, a business or career, or add to their employability in another field. We all want our kids to have strong communication skills and to be able to express their needs and ideas, as well as be receptive to communication. When it comes to art production, there are certain terms you'll see over and over. These are the 7 elements of art I mentioned earlier. Here's a short explanation for you. A line is the path created by a moving point. Lines are used to define shapes. Shapes are flat areas of enclosed space. Typically, shapes are either geometric or organic. Space is the area around and between objects in a composition, creating the illusion of depth. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. Form is a 3-dimensional shape with volume and depth. Texture refers to the surface quality of an object, how it looks and feels. Color is our visual perception of reflected light, includes hue, saturation, and value. In terms of making art projects, you'll need some stuff. Supply bundles for specific courses have enough materials for a couple of students, but you can also buy as much or as little as you need. If you're new to art in the home, you may not have a lot of supplies lying around. Often, though, you don't need anything too complicated to get started. Basics like glue, scissors, construction paper, crayons, markers, graphite drawing pencils, colored pencils, paints, both watercolor and acrylic, drawing and watercolor papers, paintbrushes, and maybe some pastels will get you started. It helps that our prices on art supplies are really good. We offer art supplies from brushes to paper in various levels. Student grade is an affordable and good option for young or entry-level artists. Professional level supplies may be more costly, but provide a better user experience for your middle and high schoolers and those who are more serious about their art. Both work. But if your budget allows, the more professional level art supplies can take your student from elementary all the way through high school and beyond. Most supplies can be shared within your family, though serious art students will want to keep their good stuff away from the toddlers in the house. You want to be prepared and have the supplies needed for the lessons. If you're missing something, you're more likely to skip a lesson, and the goal is to be intentional with art instruction. Well, everyone, I think you're informed and ready to look at some curriculum options and see if anything strikes your fancy. Let's start with some full curriculum options, those featuring art history, art appreciation, and art production. Then we'll look at some simpler formats to bring art into the home. Keep in mind, you can adjust lessons to fit your needs. If there are 36 lessons, that's one per week. You could double up lessons every other week if that's how you plan to work art into your schedule. Artistic Pursuits has 3 options, and you can group children of similar abilities in the lessons. The Classic Edition has 68 lessons, with projects presented in spiral-bound books with clear instruction. It's for students from kindergarten to high school. Older students can work independently, while parents will use the guides with younger students. Kids learn the elements of art, appreciation, and some history. Students will enjoy the variety of media and subjects covered, practical art appreciation, and the open-ended projects. There's no video component for the spiral books. A special series for students in grades K to 3 have hardcovers and DVD instruction. These are arranged by eras and make for a fun way to align to your history instruction. Single skills are taught in the core series, which dives into drawing and painting for middle and high schoolers. It too has DVD instruction with a book and convenient supply bundles available. These courses are not religious. Meet the Masters is a mix of online instruction and art projects. The schedule is only 1 unit per month. No art background or talent is necessary. Little preparation time is required, other than to gather the supplies needed. It's simple to use, well organized, and not religious. To make your course selection, first decide on the group of artists you'd like to study. These are presented in 7 tracks and can be done in any order. For example, track A includes Van Gogh, Cassatt, Mondrian, Picasso, and Monet. Then you choose from 3 age levels, 5 to 7, 8 to 9, and ages 10 and up. If I have middle and high schoolers, I'll choose track A for ages 10 and up. This is a good option for combining kids of similar ages. Lessons include art appreciation, art technique, and an art project. Begin with a slideshow you narrate with the help of printable material. This takes 20 to 40 minutes. Printable worksheets help students understand techniques used by the masters. Activities are based on those techniques. You should expect 1 to 2 hours on each art project, but it's only once a month. As you may have guessed, How Great Thou Art will include biblical content. There are several courses varying in skills and instruction. Teacher Barry Stepping has a way of teaching new art students and experienced artists with a tone that is enjoyable for all. He uses marker cards for students to practice techniques, so each student should have their own set for each course. His books are user-friendly for a parent leading the instruction or an independent student. God in the History of Art focuses on Christian artists and the periods of art that strive to glorify God. It incorporates art history and art instruction over 4 years and is for middle and high school students. An Introduction to Art History, a classical approach, is directed to elementary and middle school students and pulls content from God in the History of Art, adjusting weekly lessons for a younger audience. I Can Do All Things is an encouraging step-by-step program combining art projects and open-ended art appreciation for children kindergarten to about grade 2. It's an extremely friendly course for the beginner artist. Lamb's Book of Art is an excellent starting point for any beginning artist from grades 1 to 8, perfect for family art time. Lessons and instruction are easy to follow and could be used for self-study for an older child. Feed My Sheep, Serving as both art text and workbook, this large volume contains 260 daily lessons and can be used over a span of years. It's recommended for grades 3 to 9. Atelier, the French word for studio, is a video-based program. If you dream of an art teacher coming to your home, this is the next best thing. This program offers 8 levels that cover grades pre-K to 12, with each level offering a full year of visual art instruction. Levels have 20 streamed lessons and a parent-teacher manual for you to print. This program is flexible, so you could have a weekly lesson or one every 2 weeks. Concepts and projects are introduced by an art teacher on video. Only basic supplies are needed to complete the activities and are listed on our website. We do not have supply bundles for Atelier. There are 2 versions of the online program, complete and enriched. While they have the same lessons, the enriched option adds the Great Masters Virtual Museum, an art appreciation and art history supplement. The virtual museum contains 90 artworks along with discussions for each piece. Online access is for 18 months. Studio Articulations is a user-friendly art curriculum designed for Christian schools and homeschooling families, but you don't have to be an art teacher to use it. The lessons are laid out in a clear, structured format that even the most non-artsy parents can apply. The spiral book includes your scripted lesson plan and more. This is a very organized art program. There are 4 levels for students in grades 1 to 8. It works out to do 1 or 2 lessons per week over 36 weeks, and there's 1 full-color poster per unit. As you learn about each artist, you're building appreciation skills as well as learning about the artists themselves, adding an art history component. If you like an open-and-go curriculum, this is right up your alley. Now, you could go in another direction from the full art curriculum. If you're looking for something a bit simpler in presentation, but still with some structured instruction, here are some options you may like. Art with a Purpose identifies their levels as numbered art packs. An art pack is a consumable workbook students work through. The elements of art are taught in a more casual fashion with teacher instruction right in the pack. Supplies needed are very basic and there's virtually no prep. With 8 levels, the program runs from kindergarten to 8th grade, but how quickly you move through the workbooks will vary. This is a neutral option, not Christian or overtly secular. Visual Manna offers theme-based or topical art instruction via instructional books for the parent. This is a family-friendly option as you can combine children with a wide range of abilities, each producing what they can. The guides are heavy on art appreciation, and you'll see color images of paintings, sketches, and more as you attempt to create your own version of said image. This program also has options for connecting art instruction through science, math, language, and other subjects. This one's Christian. Living Art Lessons is a self-directed course that teaches the elements of art with the goal of helping your student find their own unique creative voice. It's suggested you do a lesson twice a week for about 30 to 45 minutes. You need only simple art supplies and a few household items to complete the projects. The artist journal is consumable, so each student needs their own, but they can share the artist book. This is a good introduction for a student who's showing a talent or interest in art in the upper elementary or middle school years. It's also Christian. And then there's another option, another place that has a much looser structure. The shelf of crayons and paper and markers, the table and chair that draws them to create for pleasure. Students may gravitate toward this kind of creation in their free time, but what if we brought some of this open-ended exploration into our core subjects and integrated aspects of art into math, ELA, science, and history? How might that look? It's not so hard to think about an art unit coming from a history lesson. Simply consider the era, location, and culture of what you're studying. It's like the art's already there. You just have to bring attention to it. Imagine you're learning about ancient Rome and you find a cool mosaic tile project to tie in. Anytime you're learning about world cultures, There will be art to explore, from China to Morocco to Alaska, even the United States. Ask the kids for art ideas. Perhaps they want to collect fallen branches and build a tiny log cabin like the American pioneers. Maybe they want to try and build the Eiffel Tower from craft sticks and a glue gun. Dioramas of any kind are an art project where kids tend to invest their time, resulting in a stronger connection to the information they learned while doing the project. I always say, the more connections, the better the retention. Art and literature go hand in hand, though grammar may be a stretch. Perhaps you have a good book you're reading aloud as a family. Each child can draw how they imagine the character in their head. Then you have a show and share where they all explain their choices. This is more fun when a character is not shown on the cover, of course. It takes active listening skills to catch a description of a character, not only how they look, but their demeanor. How do you capture grumpy in a portrait? How do you capture kindness? You could make sock puppets and act out a scene from the read aloud. What a fun way to interact with a book as a family. You know they'll remember this activity later. Oh, design a book cover. That would be fun. Have you noticed that adding art to a core subject results in multisensory learning? It's almost like you were supposed to notice. Why does it seem more challenging to work art into math and science? For our black and white thinkers, open-ended art can feel overwhelming. Isn't that just a different part of the brain or a different personality type or learning style or something? There are tons of creative problem-solving opportunities in math and science that can also be opportunities to practice art. It doesn't have to be such a stretch to work art into these areas, but I may need to think about this for a minute. Okay, I got it. Consider patterns and shapes as a way to integrate art into your math lessons. Go back to the elements and principles and bring in line, form, and function. There is art in the simplicity of line, purpose, and editing our choices. This would appeal to the minimalist mathematical brain. These kids need to apply art to math to see its value. However, what if you want to stretch them to make them just a bit uncomfortable? Try making something organic into something geometric. Maybe a self-portrait using only geometric shapes. Oh, see if they can make tessellations. Those look very mathematical to me. Perspective drawing, a technique for creating three-dimensional objects on a flat surface like paper, uses linear perspective, which is tied to math and geometry. One idea kids could work on together is creating their own math manipulatives. Do you need something to sort and count? Get out the air-dry clay or construction paper. Could they make their own math balance from things around the house? This could evolve into some kind of game. Lots of learning there. Are you organizing data on a graph? Make 1-inch squares of paper in different colors and a poster-sized graph to demonstrate the graphing process. By actively participating in the lesson, they're more invested in their own learning. Learning fractions? Let's make a pizza or a pie out of felt or cardstock. Give everyone a topping to create and contribute while an older child makes and cuts out the circles and slices. Let the kids make their own flashcards for fact practice. Have them assign a color to a fact family. For example, if you're learning multiplication, use a red marker for multiples of 2, orange for 3s, yellow for 4s, green for 5s, and so on. By associating a color with a fact family, you're building in color coding as a memorization tool and teaching Roy G. Biv at the same time. You can use things like a spirograph set or even origami to bring art into math lessons too. Now for science, perhaps the most natural connection to art is through nature itself. Look for patterns in things like leaves, feathers, fossils. Make an extreme close-up of the pattern. Older kids might try to make a linoleum print out of it. We have easy-to-cut blocks on our website. Use acrylic paints and a brayer, and yes, we have these too, to make a cool work of art for the house. Sitting in nature and observing the environment is a perfect place to add a sketchbook and colored pencils. Children of almost every age can create a nature journal of the birds, bugs, trees, rocks, shadows, puddles, and whatever else they see. These become treasured keepsakes, as well as being great tools to teach your child to pause, observe, and document. You can easily bring color into a science lesson using construction paper taped to a sunny wall. Cover the lower half of each color with a piece of white printer paper. Use the Roy G. Biv order plus black. After 2 weeks in the sun, remove the white paper and look at how much each color has lost its saturation. Why do some colors fade more than other colors? Asking questions and making observations are foundational for scientists. Creating situations to observe a specific trait helps reinforce lessons in learning. Also, on the subject of color, how about you tie-dye some t-shirts? To make it more of a science experiment, gather different fabrics and record your results. Are you feeling better about adding art to your homeschool? Whether you teach it yourself with a clear lesson plan or find a program with video instruction, there's an option out there for your family. Remember all the connections art can bring to different subjects. Kids remember art time. It's something beyond the core subjects they're learning, something special. And who knows, maybe exposing your children to art could lead into a lifelong passion or career. Maybe becoming a painter, a graphic designer, an architect or a photographer, fashion designer, and a future homeschool parent. We'd love to hear about your trials and successes when it comes to adding art to your schedule. Share an experience in the comments. You might even get some ideas from other parents. You can see all of these programs and more on our website and call our team of friendly curriculum consultants. We're available free of charge to help you find a good path for your family when it comes to art and other subjects.